I let my brother and his new wife live in my rental for free while they saved for a baby. I even covered the utilities. One day, I got a notice from the city. The backyard had been turned into an unauthorized petting zoo for private events. I checked Instagram, and there was a business page charging $60 a head. When I asked why, they never told me. His wife said, "Your family. This helps all of us." I shut it down. That night, someone spray-painted "selfish" across my garage door. I'm 38. Divorced. No kids. I live alone in a 2-bedroom condo in Tempe, Arizona. I own a small house in Mesa that I bought 10 years ago. It's not big, but it has a nice backyard. I fixed it up after my divorce and started renting it out to help pay off the mortgage. Nothing fancy, but it's mine. Last March, my younger brother Cody and his new wife Bailey asked me if they could move in. Cody's 31. Bailey's 29. They'd only been married a few months, and things weren't going great for them. Bailey had just quit her job to focus on fertility. Cody worked full-time, but his paychecks barely covered bills. They told me they wanted to start a family, but needed time to save up. I've always been the one in the family to help out. I never thought twice about it. I told them they could live in the rental for 6 months, free of rent. I cover water, gas, electric, and trash. All I asked was that they keep the place clean, don't damage anything, and no big changes without asking me first. Cody said thanks at least 5 times. Bailey hugged me like I was some hero. I didn't expect gifts or anything, just some basic respect. Things were quiet for the first month or two. Bailey texted me one day in April asking if she could put in a garden in the backyard. I said sure, nothing permanent though. A week later, she asked if she could get a couple chickens, just for eggs. I said all right, but no roosters, no selling eggs, and definitely no turning it into a farm. She laughed and said, "Of course not. It's just for us." I should have known right then, but I gave her the benefit of the doubt. By June, I started hearing little things from neighbors. A few said there was a lot of noise coming from the backyard, kids, music, even what sounded like animals. One guy asked me if I'd turned the place into a daycare. I asked Cody about it. He said Bailey was doing little playdates with her friends. They bring their kids over and hang out, nothing big. He swore it wasn't anything more. I had no reason to doubt him. He's my brother. Then in August, I got a letter from the city. A violation notice. It said the property was being used for unpermitted commercial activity and had received several complaints. I thought it had to be a mistake. I called the number on the notice. The woman I spoke to said they had reports of crowds, parties, parking problems, and animals. She mentioned a donkey. A damn donkey. I got in my truck and drove straight to the house that night. When I pulled up, the street was lined with cars. There were balloons on the mailbox. Laughter and music coming from the backyard. I parked down the block and walked around the side, staying quiet. I couldn't believe what I saw. The backyard looked like a county fair. There were hay bales, wooden pens with goats and chickens, a table full of cupcakes, a cooler of drinks, folding chairs in rows, fairy lights strung from the fence, a big hand-painted sign that said Bailey's Barnyard Bash. There were at least 20 people back there, some of them parents, most of them kids. The kids were petting animals, riding a pony, playing in a sandbox. One lady was taking group photos under a banner. I took pictures of everything. I didn't go in. I didn't say anything. I just turned around and went home. That night, I found the Instagram account. Bailey's Barnyard Bash. A full business page. She'd been posting since June. There were pictures of birthday parties, family events, even a gender reveal. She had a booking link and listed prices. $60 per person, 2-hour experience. Includes petting zoo access, light snacks, and crafts. I felt sick. The next morning, I showed up at the front door at 9 a.m. sharp. Cody answered. He looked like he hadn't slept. I asked him to get Bailey, and we sat in the living room. I didn't raise my voice. I just asked, "What the hell is going on in my backyard?" Bailey didn't even try to deny it. She smiled and said, "It's just a little side hustle. It helps all of us. We're family." I told her the city contacted me. They could fine me. If anything happened on that property, if a kid got bit, someone got sick, I'd be the one held responsible. I told them it had to stop now. Bailey's smile dropped fast. "Wow," she said. So you'd rather see us struggle than let us do something that helps people? Cody didn't say a word. He just looked down at his hands. I told them I was shutting it down. I gave them 30 days to move out. That night, someone spray-painted selfish across my garage door in huge red letters. I called the police, filed a report. They couldn't do much, but I kept everything. Photos, texts, Instagram posts. The next day, Bailey posted a rant on her business page. She didn't name me, but it was clear who she was talking about. She wrote, "Some people would rather hold others back than see them succeed. Even family. But we'll rise anyway." I started planning. I called a property manager, a landscaper, an attorney. But the story doesn't stop there. It gets worse. And I'm not done yet. So after I gave them 30 days notice, I kept my distance, but I didn't stop watching. 2 days later, a neighbor sent me a message on Facebook. She said people were still coming by the house. She thought there was another party happening in the backyard. I drove over around 6 p.m. and sat in my truck across the street. Sure enough, balloons, kids, folding chairs, goats. Same setup. Business as usual. I took photos again. This time, I walked straight up the driveway. Bailey saw me and stepped in front of the gate like she was guarding a secret club. She said it's already paid for. We couldn't cancel last minute. That'd be bad for our reviews. I stared at her for a second. Then I looked past her and saw Cody in the back, trying to hide behind a folding table. I said, loud enough for the parents to hear, "This event is unauthorized. It's being held on private property without the owner's consent." I turned to leave and made 2 phone calls. First to the police, then to the city code enforcement office. Within an hour, an officer and a city rep were on site. The party was shut down on the spot. The animals were loaded into a trailer and taken to some boarding place. Parents left pissed off, kids crying. Bailey stood in the middle of it all like a statue, not saying a word. The next morning, I woke up to a 1-star Google review on my property's old rental page. "This landlord is a monster. He evicted my pregnant friend with no warning. He's abusive and controlling. Stay away." First of all, Bailey wasn't pregnant. Second, that listing wasn't even active anymore. She'd gone out of her way to find it and try to trash me. But it didn't stop there. A few days later, my landlord, I rent my condo, got a call from someone claiming I was running illegal eviction scams. They said I was stealing from tenants. Completely false. But the fact someone went to that level? That was war. I sat down and put everything together in a file, screenshots, reviews, messages, photos, the letter from the city. I gave it all to my attorney. He said I had a strong case for damages, unauthorized commercial use, defamation, vandalism. He also said I should pursue back rent based on how much they were making off the property. So I filed. I sued them both for over $12,000 in damages and back rent. And the moment I did that, all hell broke loose. Cody came to my work. Just showed up. He waited by my car in the parking lot. When I walked out, he started shouting, "What the hell, man? You're gonna sue your own brother? We were trying to build something. You think you're better than us?" I told him to back off. I told him this wasn't personal anymore. It was business. Just like Bailey said their little zoo was. He shoved me. Right there in the lot. I didn't hit back. But a coworker saw the whole thing and called security. He was escorted off the property. I filed a restraining order that week. Meanwhile, Bailey started posting videos of herself crying on TikTok. She made it all sound like I had destroyed their lives. One video even showed the backyard and claimed I had torn down their dream with no warning. It got thousands of views. People were commenting like I was some kind of monster. But what none of them saw were the permits they never got, the animals left out in the heat, or the bags of trash dumped behind the garage. I stayed quiet online. I didn't post or respond. But behind the scenes, I was collecting everything. That's when the twist hit. A guy named Pete reached out to me through Facebook. Said he used to date Bailey years ago. He sent me a message, "Hey man. Just a heads up, she's done this before. She used to run backyard parties in California. Got shut down there too." I asked for proof. He sent screenshots. One was from a county notice about an unlicensed petting zoo in Riverside. Another was a complaint filed by neighbors about noise and animal waste. The name listed? Bailey Harmon. Her maiden name. So this wasn't some innocent little dream. This was a pattern. I gave that info to my lawyer. It only made our case stronger. Then I got an anonymous tip. Someone emailed me saying Bailey had applied for a business license under a new name and was trying to start up again at someone else's house. I checked the name. Sure enough, there was a new Instagram page, Desert Critters AZ. Same animals. Same setup. They'd moved it to a new location, but they were still using the pictures from my backyard in all their promo posts. I reported the page, sent it to the city again, made sure it was flagged. I'm not letting this slide. I've kept my mouth shut long enough. They turned me into the bad guy while they lied, used my property, and tried to make a business off of my kindness. They started this war. I'm going to finish it. A week after I found out about Desert Critters AZ, things got real messy. The new page went dark within 48 hours of me reporting it. But not before I noticed something in one of the photos. An old wooden gate with a distinct crack running down the middle. I recognized it. It was the side gate from my rental house. She hadn't even changed the photos. Just slapped a new logo on the same backyard. I started wondering, had they really moved the animals? Or were they just saying they did? So I drove by the rental late one evening. No lights, no cars. Everything looked quiet. I went around the side alley, peeked over the fence, and there they were, cages, pens, a few stacked folding chairs, and the damn donkey. Still there. Still at my house. This was almost 2 weeks past their move-out date. I called animal control. 2 officers showed up the next day. I met them there with my keys and walked them through the backyard. It reeked like hay, manure, and rot. One of the goats was limping. The water bowls were dry. They seized every single animal and filed a cruelty report. Bailey went ballistic on social media. She said the animals were stolen from her. She claimed they were her emotional support animals and accused me of committing a hate crime against a woman's healing space. Meanwhile, Cody messaged me from a burner Facebook account. He said, "You think you're winning, but you're not. Family doesn't treat family like this." I ignored him. I was done playing that game. Then, about 3 days later, I got a knock on my door. It was a woman I didn't know. Maybe mid-40s, worn out, holding a clipboard. She said she was with Child Protective Services. She asked if I knew a Cody and Bailey. I said yes, they were my former tenants. She sighed. "We got a report of child neglect. Someone said there were unsupervised kids around livestock in dangerous conditions. We're trying to verify if any minors were ever living at that location or if any childcare was being provided out of the home." That caught me off guard. I told her I had no idea, but I did remember seeing a few too many kids there during events. I gave her the contact for my lawyer and let her know I had videos and photos. Turns out Bailey wasn't just charging for parties. She had been offering a drop-off petting zoo day camp on weekdays for working moms. It was in her booking links. Parents would leave their toddlers there for up to 4 hours at a time with just Bailey and sometimes Cody watching them. No business license. No childcare license. No permits. Nothing. Once CPS started poking around, the dominoes really fell. The city started an investigation. The county health department came next. My lawyer pushed the lawsuit harder. We added another $8,000 in new claims related to property damage, animal waste removal, and public health risks. And then, Bailey disappeared from social media. One day her Instagram was full of rants and motivational quotes. The next day, gone. Wiped clean. TikTok too. But I wasn't surprised when I got another anonymous message. Someone sent me a link to a new business page. This one was on Facebook, and this time it was under Cody's name. It was called Critter Kingdoms. Same animals. Same party setup. Just different words. They were trying to shift it under him now. But here's the problem for them. My lawsuit doesn't just cover Bailey. It names both of them. And now that I had proof they were still at it even after being shut down, the judge would see it for what it was, fraud. My attorney sent a cease and desist letter to the new business page. He followed it with an emergency hearing request to freeze any earnings or bookings they were collecting under that name. We filed for a lien against their assets. Cody's car, their furniture, even Bailey's Instagram business kit. All of it could be seized. That was when Cody finally cracked. He started texting people in my family. My mom, my aunt, even our sister. He told them I was ruining his life, and that I was jealous he was trying to build something. My mom tried to call me, said, "Can't you just drop it? He's your brother." I told her I didn't start this. They used me, lied to me, trashed my property, put my name and home on the line just to make money off goats and toddlers. This wasn't family anymore. It was business. And they made that decision, not me. The court date finally came that December. I showed up with my lawyer, 3 full folders of evidence, a photo album of the backyard before and after, and printed screenshots from every one of Bailey's and Cody's now deleted social media pages. They came too. Cody looked like he hadn't shaved in weeks. Bailey wore all black like she was attending a funeral. She didn't make eye contact with me once. Her face was red, like she'd been crying or yelling or both. The judge didn't waste time. She asked if Cody and Bailey were operating a for-profit business on the property I owned without permission. Their lawyer tried to spin it. It was a family arrangement, Your Honor. Informal. Verbal consent was given. But the judge cut him off. Did the property owner ever sign a lease allowing commercial use? Silence. She reviewed everything. Photos of the petting zoo, Instagram posts, booking links, the animal control report, the CPS visit notes, even the vandalism police report. Then she looked at Cody and Bailey and said, "You two aren't just irresponsible. You're dangerous. You ran an unlicensed business involving minors and live animals without permits in a residential zone. And when you were told to stop, you kept going." She ruled in my favor. Full amount. Over $21,000 in damages and back rent, plus $3,000 in legal fees. She granted the lien and gave me the right to pursue wage garnishment if they didn't pay. But that wasn't the worst part for them. A county prosecutor picked up the CPS report. There was talk of misdemeanor charges for unlicensed child care and neglect. Nothing stuck criminally, but they were fined nearly $7,000 separately by the health department and city code enforcement. The petting zoo dream? Gone. Animals? Gone. Credit? Trashed. Instagram hustle? Shut down. The house? After a deep cleaning and 4 months of landscaping, I rented it to a quiet retired couple who keep to themselves and grow tomatoes. As for Cody and Bailey, last I heard, they were living in her cousin's basement in Tucson. Bailey tried to start a candle business online, but it fizzled fast. Cody was working warehouse shifts. They blocked me on everything. But let me tell you the twist of this whole thing. About a month after court, I was cleaning out an old box from the garage. I found a handwritten card Cody gave me back when they moved in. It said, "Thanks for believing in us. We won't let you down. We're family." I stared at that card for a long time. Then I tossed it in the trash. I did make one mistake through all of this. I waited too long to speak up. I let guilt keep me quiet. I let family make me ignore red flags. They built a business on my back. They thought being related gave them the right to take without asking, to lie without shame, and to call it helping all of us. But helping people doesn't mean being used. And revenge? Sometimes it just means doing what they never expected, telling the truth and not backing down.